We want to get under people's skin.
Now y'all know I'm gonna be honest. You can be upset. Oh, do you not like it? Oh, is this upsetting you? I'm sorry. What's going on, his, hers, and theirs?
What's up, guys?
It's your boy Anthony.
I'm Jamie.
We are back again. Today we are doing a request for part 2 of assumptions about us as an interracial couple. If you are new here, go ahead and hit that notification bell so you can get all of our future videos. Leave some comments down below. Introduce yourself to the rest of the his, hers, and theirs fam.
And let's get it.
And let's get it.
First assumption is we stay purposefully ignorant to racism and or societal mistreatment of minorities.
I don't understand how people come to these conclusions or make these assumptions, but I am a minority. I've experienced racism firsthand. One thing I am definitely not is ignorant. I don't understand how people come to these assumptions, but I would never feign ignorance because I married a white woman. I feel like I've touched on this in another video that we've done, but I did not forget where I came from. As a matter of fact, I go back to where I came from on a regular basis. As a black man, to assume that I'm ignorant to racist ideologies, to assume, especially without knowing me, that because I'm married to a white woman that I don't get it, is ridiculous.
I think the assumption is you don't care.
That's even more ridiculous. You know, I have 5 children. I have a responsibility to care. I also have a responsibility to be educated on the subject, and I have a responsibility to teach my children and prepare my children to go out and deal with that type of stuff. So, ridiculous. I'm gonna stick with ridiculous.
It's honestly part of why we're doing this channel. We are very aware of the social construct and that there is something very wrong with it, and it's part of, you know, what we want to speak about on this channel.
We're not setting out to prove anybody right or wrong. No. The goal with this is to open eyes and allow people to see. My wife and I aren't the only interracial couple in the world. We're not the only educated interracial couple in the world. You know, there are hundreds of thousands of us. Hundreds of thousands of us. And the real ignorance lies in the people who makes assumptions like that one.
I do think that we probably have a different perspective than some, because we do see both sides of that coin.
Well,
you know?
I'll say this. There's a big difference between ignorance and stupidity. Ignorance is never having been taught as stupidity is having been taught and doing it wrong anyway. So I'm neither ignorant nor stupid where this subject is concerned, and to assume that either of us are only shows your own ignorance,
or that we don't do our part and whatever we can to
affect change.
Yeah. All right. Assumption number 2. We want to get under people's skin.
Now y'all know I'm gonna be honest. That is not the case anymore.
I mean, it was never the purpose. I think the assumption is that, you know, the whole reason we wanted to get together was just to bug people or something.
Well, okay. That's not why we got together, obviously. But there was definitely a time for us, specifically before we had children.
Look, if you're gonna be rude and then act bothered,
then we're gonna bother you.
Our younger selves would mess with you a little bit. Like, if you're gonna, you know, say rude things or act disgusted or anything like that, then we will make out right in front of you.
Yes.
Or we used to would've.
Well, and I mean, we're not like that anymore. You know, now it's more of a, I mean, if you got a problem with it, you got a problem with it, and it's your problem, not mine. Back in the day, people would be rude and mean, and in those situations, we would intentionally be overly affectionate and kind of rub it in people's faces and stuff. But that was more retaliatory than it was initiated by us.
Yeah, we didn't walk out the door doing that, but if you were showing your ass, then we were gonna show ours a little bit. But I mean, it wasn't in an angry way. It was more like a
poking fun.
Yeah.
You know, like it was never a case of we were so angry that we did something to try to upset somebody else.
No, we weren't bothered, but at the same time, it's like they were doing everything they could to bother us, and it was our way of letting them know.
I think it was hilarious.
It was our way of letting them know that you can't bother us.
Exactly. It's like you can be upset. Oh, do you not like it? Oh, is this upsetting you? I'm sorry.
Assumption number 3. Oh, I got this one personally. So nobody cares, and we just want attention. People aren't really staring. It's all in our head. I commented on another interracial couples video. I forget what it was. I can probably find it, but I believe the title was they don't want to see us together. Interracial couple. And this man commented something along the lines of, nobody cares about interracial couples. They just want attention. They have self-confidence issues or something like that. And I straight up commented back like, why did you even click on this video if you don't care? But why are you commenting on it? Obviously it bothers you.
You're going through a lot of trouble to show you don't care.
I'm sorry, it's not all in our head. And maybe in some areas it's not as bad as in others, but we live in southern Louisiana and it's blatantly obvious that people,
I know this much. If it's in our head,
problem.
That's one heck of a shared psychosis. I doubt that we would both be imagining it.
We have literally walked in places and it's almost like the music stops and there's crickets. Like, it's like freeze. Like, we'll walk in a grocery store and it's like the whole store freezes for a second and stands and looks, and then they continue.
There are better ways to get attention. You know, like if I need attention or I want attention that badly from the general public, it's not that hard to get attention.
But the reason we speak on it is because it's a sign of a bigger problem. You know, that's why we speak on it. We're not speaking on it because, oh, look at us, we're so special that people stare at us. And I think that was in his comment too. I would have to find it. I should have.
Here's the thing. If we lived in a world where this wasn't a big deal, if we lived in a world where people weren't freaked out when they saw it, then we wouldn't even be having this conversation. There would be no need to have this conversation. There'd be no need for the comment that he left if we lived in a world where people didn't see it that way.
I can't lie, like we've really gotten past it now, but it can cause problems in relationships. If you're a strong enough person, it doesn't have to break your relationship or anything, but I'm not going to sit here and say that it never caused any problems for us. It did cause some small problems, you know?
I can agree with that. You know, we've had situations where women have intentionally tried to, you know, mess with us. They'll be, for lack of any better way to even put it, they'll be overtly sexual in an effort to get and keep my attention.
Or overly rude. Like if we're at a restaurant, my food won't come out the way it's supposed to, or, you know, just I'll have dirty silverware, glasses, or, I mean, name it. Like it's not like it's just something that you can always just let roll off of your shoulder. I try my best now, and I think I was probably more bothered by it because it was more directed towards me. Yeah. For the most part.
And I mean, like, at the same time, we've also had situations where guys would be, you know, like I wasn't even there trying to talk to my wife, you know? It's one of those things where it's not that hard to figure out when a person disagrees with this. Yeah. You know? And that's fine. I'm not trying to make you agree with it. I'm not trying to force you to agree with it. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. But you can't force it on me.
You don't have to be rude either. Like, if you're in the customer service industry at all, I'm sorry, but no matter who the customer is, they're right.
You have a job. And a part of that
should
job
not be rude to customers. You're causing problems for that business. I'm not going to bring my business back there, and I might even tell somebody else not to because, you know, you were rude.
I have definitely boycotted certain stores and restaurants because of that. I have. And for me, if it upsets me that badly, then that to me, that's the most effective thing I can do, is not give that place my money anymore.
4. Assumption number 4. We don't mind a million questions. This includes the children.
Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't. I'm not going to sit here and complain about people being ignorant and then be unwilling to answer some of those questions when they come at me. To me, answering questions occasionally is part of doing my part to educate the general public on what this is. And I don't understand why people are so confused.
I don't think it's so much that they're confused as very, very curious. And like he said, it's not a big deal to do that sometimes, but when every time you go anywhere that has an atmosphere where people are free to kind of walk up and talk to people, they're always coming up to us and asking us our story, and we have to tell people over and over and over again. And it bothers me honestly more with the children.
Yeah, when people walk up to my daughter and ask her which one of her parents is white, that kind of ticks me off.
Or they tell her, you know, oh, I bet you get all the boys because you're mixed. Or they touch her hair. That's not okay. It's just not okay. How would you feel if someone walked up and did that to you all the time?
That's violating boundaries.
It is. And I mean, poor thing, she didn't even tell us for a while, and finally she was so bothered one day that she just started telling us about all this stuff that keeps happening to her. And it happens to Trinity in particular. Mm-hmm. The rest of our children can honestly, I feel like, pass for Hispanic sometimes.
I think unless they're actually with us, some people might think that.
And if they're with us, nobody's gonna have the gall to walk up to them.
To one of the children, no. They'll still walk up to us.
Yeah.
With a million questions.
But you can tell Trinity in particular is biracial. And she gets it the most. But yeah, that's just, it's not okay. It's not okay. it's okay if you have one or two questions, even for us. Sometimes. There comes a point where we do get tired of it. We don't want every single moment that we spend out together, which is not a lot, by the way, because we are busy with 5 children and a lot of things to do. So we don't get a chance to go out and just chill very often.
And that was the other point that I was going to make. Occasionally it's fine, but when it reaches the point where we can't actually enjoy what we went out for, that's crossing the line.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, I came out to spend time with my wife. I have no problem answering a couple of questions, but when it reaches the point where people are following us around and they won't leave us alone, and they're just question after question after question, you know, it's a little rude and it's definitely annoying.
Yeah, one of the last times we went out, I love dancing, so we went out dancing, and we were trying to dance, and they were like yelling at us over the music on the dance floor, you know, and it was just, like, I can't even really remember what they were saying.
That's because it was not of no consequence. We weren't there for that. You know, we were trying to spend
It was
time
about
with each
our
other.
relationship, though. They were making jokes. They weren't rude. Like, they weren't, you know, it wasn't anything hostile. They were joking around and very curious about us and wanted to, I mean, we want to be your friend, but not because we really want to be your friend, just because you're like a circus act.
Oh, we've had people invite us back to their house.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, every single time we go anywhere that's not just out to eat, and sometimes even out to eat, it happens.
Yeah.
All right, assumption number 5. I chose to be with a black man just to make my parents mad. That one's pretty stupid. I've been with him for 21 years. That would be really stupid on my part to stay with someone so long just to piss someone off.
To be fair, I do get that assumption. I understand why people have that assumption, because in the past, I have in fact been propositioned by white women because they want to piss off their parents.
Yeah, and I mean, I've witnessed it too. I can't lie.
You know, I used to work at a restaurant near LSU, and a lot of the employees were students at LSU, and there were a few of them that propositioned me because they wanted to piss off their parents. Like, straight up told me, I want to make my dad mad. Nothing would make him more angry than me bringing home a black guy. So, it does happen, but that wasn't the case with her and I.
Yeah, no, that's ridiculous in my opinion.
To think that somebody would want to sleep with me just because I'm black was kind of weird, you know? But it does happen. So I do get why that one is an assumption for some people.
Yeah, but people need to stop assuming everything goes for every, you know, couple that looks like this.
Agreed.
All right, next assumption is he's ghetto and she's white trash.
All right, that's an assumption that is usually very easily dismissed with a simple conversation. Most people realize that that's not the case for us. If they talk to us at all, they'll realize that that's not the case. But that being said, I am from a rough neighborhood, and under the right circumstances, I can get very ghetto if I need to. I'm so hood. I'm really not.
Different interracial couples are going to have different stories where things like this are concerned. We live in the deep south.
Yeah.
You know,
the deep south.
I think one reason we probably kind of get these assumptions and stares and all of that a little more is not only the interracial thing, but we are not very common where we're from. It is kind of, you do see a lot of that here.
The hood guy and the white trash girl.
Yeah, the guy with his pants not where they're supposed to be, and the girl who's obviously kind of, I don't like talking about people, y'all.
Well, I'm saying it's not talking about people. You're just describing what we see, you know, and what we see.
Like if you hear them speak, that stereotype seems true.
Yeah.
The way they're dressed, that stereotype seems true. So I think when they see us and we're not dressed that way,
and we don't speak that way, and we don't carry ourselves like that at all.
Yeah. They're confused.
There are plenty in Baton Rouge that carry themselves that way, and you know,
but that doesn't mean we're the only ones like this. But we're not very common. Like you might see a couple like us, you know, once a month if you're out and about.
And I do, you know, every once in a while I do run into a couple that reminds me of us, you know.
Yeah. But I feel like they probably get the same thing we do.
Exactly. Case in point.
Yeah.
Never make assumptions about anybody on anything.
You know what they say about assuming.
I do know what they say. Not me. Rather than assume something about a person or a subject, I would choose to educate myself and learn the truth. So before you make an assumption about anybody, before you make an assumption about a couple, think about it. Educate yourself. Learn the truth. So that you don't, you know, make an ass out of you and me.
Don't let anything get you so upset. You get so caught up in your feelings, man. Like you're not hurting us, you're hurting you, and I feel bad for you.
Well, that's
calm down.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's like, okay, you obviously have a problem. I'm fine. You can go deal with that on your own.
But yeah, really, you're hurting yourself more than you're hurting anybody else with hatred and anger.
It's not a good look.
No.
We hope you guys enjoyed this video. Go ahead and hit that little thumbs up button if you did. Leave some comments down below. Let us know what kinds of crazy assumptions have been made about you. Also, go ahead and hit that notification bell so that you can get all of our future videos. We'd also like you to follow us on Twitter. Please follow us on Twitter
and Instagram
and Facebook. I have personally taken over the Twitter account. My wife has taken over the Instagram account. We are going to be posting more regularly and more frequently. I am calling on the his, hers, and theirs fam to come follow us. We really appreciate it. And as always, praise him in the morning.
Praise him in the evening.
Read your Bible often. And life is a very precious gift from God. So make sure you get out there and live it.
Every day.
Have a good one, people. See y'all later.